with our button, we are gonna add the link for the page that we are gonna use to insert the entry. This is the way that we are gonna do. That means we need to create the insert. Before to continue, let's see how this one looks. I will refresh, and now you can see the button add entry, and we can see the form. As you notice, the text area for the meaning is going to be this part. Text area for the idiom is going to be this one. The language is going to be just a simple box that we can complete, and the form is going to be this part for the drop box button, and you can select any of them. Every time that I click on one of them negative, what they are going to send is the number 2. And finally, we can add one example. At this point, it's not working because we haven't added the remaining code. We are going to add the entry page. For this, we are going to create a new. It's going to be called insert entry.php. And here we are going to write a PHP code. The first part that we need is to take for the form the idiom, the meaning, the language, and the tone. After, I'm going to review if the language is in the database or if we need to add a new one. In this case, I'm going to read for the database the number, and if we find something, we are going to bring the language ID. Now, in these two variables, heading and help text, I'm going to add one test as a message that later on we are going to use rendering our results. Finally, we are going to add the entry, but before we are going to include one category ID equal ones and literal translation equal none. We didn't add this one in the form. Now I'm going to create a statement to connect the database and prepare. What we are going to do is insert into the table called idioms, the ID, idiom, the literal translation, meaning, language, category, and so on. And the values I'm going to add like a question mark. Now, what I'm going to do is collect all these STM, and we're going to add the real values for the idiom, the meaning, language, category, and tone ID. Finally, I'm going to execute the command to insert in the database. And before to writing any more coding, I'm going to close the statement. At this point, with this simple coding, we are able to add in the database. Now, I'm going to add in the same variables that used before a test showing that was added successfully, and helping test is with we need that one. Just to double check if working, I'm going to create a new condition and I'm going to read the database. And after, I'm going to create a list where we are going to add the data that we read. I'm going to close my PHP and I'm going to do a simple test. Now we are going to text example 3. I'm going to add the same in all the boxes. Language English, select the tone, add the entry. As you notice, it's not working. Once I press this one, it should be addressing to the insert entry. What it's not doing. Let's see what is happening. I can see that I closed the form, but I never opened the form. I'm gonna open the form and I'm gonna add the method. It should be post. Let's try here. I'm gonna add the entry. Excellent. Now we got insert the entry. We don't see anything here. If I update my database, let's see if we find the data. As you notice, in the database, we have entered our data from the website. This is a significant milestone in your project. Now we are going to improve just a little, and we are going to display here the last data that we use. For that, in my insert entry, I'm going to include another file that is going to be called results.php, and I'm going to create this file. I'm going to say new file. It's going to be results.php, and here we are going to use our container to display our resource. I'm gonna go back for our file or searches, and I'm gonna find at the end of this one a piece of coding that we use to display the information. I'm gonna start here for divide class. I'm gonna cut this one, and also here I'm gonna include my results. Close the PHP, save, and in my results I'm gonna paste this one. Let's see if it's working. Save, I go home, and I'm gonna add one entry, example 4, positive, and add the entry. Once I add the entry, effectively go to the results page, and we can say what we add, and also we can continue looking here for all the data in our database. If I check, for example, I'm spelling example, I'm gonna find the two last that we introduced. That is all for this video.